Tonight's headlines: Duterte leads destruction of drugs. Telcos heeded Palace call on updates. Government will settle Philippine Red Cross debt. Coronavirus cases in the country at 435,413. Dito Senate hearing set next week. Typhoons push back rice adequacy target. Philippine stocks index rises anew. And economic managers expect deeper contraction. Good evening. Today is Thursday, December 3, 2020. I am Elmer Navarro Manuel, and this is Tribune News on Q. Here are the stories for this evening. President Rodrigo Duterte on Thursday oversaw the destruction of 7.5 billion pesos worth of dangerous drugs as he reminded law enforcement agencies to intensify the campaign against illegal drug trade. Among those destroyed were illegal drugs such as shabu, cocaine, ecstasy, and liquid marijuana based on the list provided by the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency. In his speech, the president said that the destruction of the assorted drugs is an affirmation of the government's determination to put an end to the menace that has caused immeasurable harm to millions of individual users, destroyed countless families, and continue to threaten the moral fabric of society. Duterte recognized the PIDEA and the Philippine National Police for their coordinated efforts that led to the seizure of billions of pesos worth of dangerous drugs. In October, Duterte ordered law enforcement agencies to destroy all confiscated illegal drugs in 1 week to avoid the recycling of the contraband. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque on Thursday disclosed that telecommunications firms have complied with Malacanang's call to provide updates on the steps taken to improve their services. The palace official said that representatives from the three players, Smart, Globe, and Dito Telecommunity, as well as the National Telecommunications Commission, will appear at a palace media briefing set for next week. Before Roque made the appeal on Tuesday, Globe President Ernest Cu said they were looking to complete its largest network upgrade by 2021 as part of a three-pronged strategy to improve services and connectivity. On November 20, PLDT Incorporated and its wireless arm Smart Communications Incorporated announced that it was rolling out an additional 2,000 cell sites next year. Dito Telecommunity, meanwhile, is expected to roll out commercial services in March 2021. Malacanang assured the Philippine Red Cross on Thursday that the government will settle the unpaid COVID-19 testing services worth 623.3 million pesos as of December 1. Presidential spokesperson Harry Roque stressed that a payment process has to be followed and it will need to comply with the three-tiered payment scheme of the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation. In October, the PRC stopped conducting COVID-19 tests chargeable to the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation due to the state health insurer's inability to settle its outstanding balance, then at 930.9 million pesos. It resumed testing weeks later after PhilHealth settled a portion of the balance. PRC Chairman and Senator Richard Gordon, however, accused PhilHealth on Wednesday of not complying with the agreement that it would pay within 3 days after being billed. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
Viber is the free and secure way to connect with friends and family, anywhere. Send messages and make phone and video calls for free. Download Viber now.
Magsha-shopping na lang ako!
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Hello, can I get the following? One pink chair, bed sheets, na pink yung sofa, tapos slides, size 8, pajamas na blue. Oh, don't forget my...
Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Wait lang, okay ba yan?
Anything at the SM store, ma'am.
Call to deliver. Call.
Kuya, pwede rin ba ako magpa-deliver sa ate ko sa Taguig, tapos sa friend ko sa Davao, tsaka sa... Can't say ko salita. Okay ba yan?
Kahit saan po, pwede kami
Call
mag-deliver.
to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver. Call. Hashtag 143SM. Hashtag 143SM. Call to deliver.
Call na rin kayo.
Call to deliver.
The Department of Health reported 1,061 confirmed coronavirus disease cases on Thursday to bring the total number of infections in the country to 435,413, even as 13 laboratories failed to submit data on time. Davao City recorded the highest number of new infections at 92, followed by Quezon City with 92, Rizal with 50, Pampanga with 44, and Quezon Province with 43. The number of recoveries, on the other hand, rose to 399,325 after 328 recovered from the respiratory disease. The death toll now stands at 8,446 with 10 new fatalities recorded. The other 27,642 are active cases undergoing treatment or quarantine. Meanwhile, Food and Drug Administration Chief Eric Domingos said a COVID-19 vaccine may be rolled out in the Philippines in March 2021 following positive developments in the search for a vaccine abroad. The Senate Committee on Public Services will hold a hearing on the proposed franchise renewal of the country's third telco player, Dito Telecommunity Corporation, next week, 3 months after it has been approved in the House of Representatives. The panel will discuss House Bill 7332, which seeks to grant another 25 years of franchise to the company, extending the one which has been granted 22 years ago through Republic Act number 8627. Dito, former the Mislatil Consortium, is composed of Davao businessman Dennis Uy's Odena Corporation, Odena's subsidiary Chelsea Logistics Holdings Incorporated, and Chinese state-owned China Telecommunications Corporation. Amid concerns on national security, Dito assured that it will never obtain classified information from the country's armed forces. National Security Advisor Hermenes Esperon has downplayed the possibility of espionage and also gave assurance that the national security will not be compromised in allowing Dito to construct facilities inside military camps. The Department of Agriculture Secretary William Dar on Thursday announced that the recent strong typhoons that hit the country in the latter part of the year have pushed back the achievement of the DA's rice supply adequacy target for 2020. Dar said that while the COVID-19 pandemic has minimal impact on the country's rice and total agricultural production, he said it was the damage due to a series of typhoons that pushed back the DA's earlier rice adequacy target of 93%. The DA is targeting a production of 20.34 million metric tons of palay or paddy rice this year, which is 8% more than the total harvest of 18.8 million metric tons in 2019. For the last quarter of 2020, rice production is expected to reach 7.42 million metric tons, which will bring this year's total palay output to 19.32 million metric tons, 2.7% more than in 2019. However, Dar said the goal to achieve a higher level of rice supply adequacy remains on track despite climate-induced disasters and logistical roadblocks brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. We'll pause for a short break. Stay with us.
Bilang bagong mag-asawa, sabay kaming natututo sa buhay.
Sabay rin namin inaaral ang mga bayarin sa bahay.
Kahit kami, nagtaka sa biglang laki ng electricity bill namin. Huwag pong mangambang maputulan. Sinisigurado ng Meralco na walang disconnection hanggang September.
Estimated bills lang ang natanggap natin ng March, April at para sa ilan, May. Dahil sa lockdown, isang tabi to para hindi na maguluhan.
Ang May o June ay actual meter reading na. Kung May nagka-actual reading, ibabawas dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran hanggang 3 buwang konsumo.
Kung estimated reading sa May at June nagka-actual reading, ibabawas din dito ang huling reading bago mag-ECQ. Yan lang po ang ating babayaran. Hanggang 4 na buwang konsumo, walang labis. Tandaan, kung ano lang na konsumo,
Yun lang ang babayaran.
ako po si Mateo G.
At ako naman po si Sarah G.
G?
G!
Click, click, that's it. Never thought self-service can be this slick. Modify plans in a snap, walang hirap, it's a wrap. Just tap the app. Now you can check, view, subscribe, renew. Help and support for you. Out with the ring apps are the in thing. You know what to do. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Self-service and easy to use. Mas okay tayo dyan. Globe at home and Globe One, all in the Globe app na yan. Instant response, no hold time pa, wala nang hintayan. Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
Download the Globe One and Globe at Home apps from Google Play Store and Apple App Store now.
Download Globe at Home and Globe One app, all in the Globe app na yan.
In business, the Philippine Stock Exchange Index ended positive on Thursday as investors are all eyes on the proposed U.S. stimulus measure. Main equities index rose 1.60% or 113.51 points to 7,194.13. The broader all shares followed with an uptick of 1.29% or 51.16 points, 4,273.25. Regina Capital Development Corporation head Visalis said that local shares closed higher as investors awaited from on a long-awaited COVID-19 financial aid relief bill. Volume totaled 3.65 billion shares, amounting to 10.4 billion pesos. Led losers at 121 to 98, while 43 shares were unchanged. The peso, meantime, ended the trade at 48.045 against the US dollar, sideways from its 48.049 close a day ago. And the country's economic performance is expected to contract deeper than earlier projected due to the lingering impact of COVID-19 pandemic and the resulting community quarantines to contain its spread, according to macroeconomic assumptions of the Philippines economic managers. The Development Budget Coordination Committee said in a joint statement that the emerging gross domestic product growth rate assumption for 2020 has been adjusted to negative 9.5% following the prolonged imposition of community quarantines in various regions in the country. The revised full-year 2020 GDP outlook is worse than the negative 5.5% earlier projected of the economic team in August. The Philippine economy shrank 11% in the third quarter, marking the first time in 35 years that GDP contracted for 3 straight quarters. The GDP shrank 16.9% in the second quarter and 0.7% in the first quarter, as the Philippines imposed one of the longest and strictest lockdowns in the world to check the spread of COVID-19. That wraps up the stories tonight. Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. The Daily Tribune is one with the nation COVID-19 crisis, and in line with this, the Daily Tribune digital edition and press reader is now available for free online. You can also download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store or Google Play to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune is also inviting everyone to join its community Viber Katribu to get updates on the freshest and hottest news and entertainment stories of the day. The emoticon on our community Viber, just visit the sticker store on Viber and search for Katribu. And before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store for my shirt and jacket this evening and the Araneta City for its continued support. Again, this is Elmer Navarro Manuel and you're watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good night, and God bless us all.
Araneta City, home to the country's first indoor shopping mall, the world's original Thrilla, and the first ever Bini Bini pageant. Now a place for your first win, your first catch, your first home, your first big break, your first date, and even your first love. Araneta City, the city of firsts.
Ang Philippine Offshore Gaming Operators o POGO ay isang legitimate business entity na nagbibigay serbisyo sa offshore gaming para lamang sa mga manlalarong nasa abroad sa pamamagitan ng internet. Ang mga serbisyong handog nito ay katulad ng casino games at sports betting na pwedeng laruin kahit wala sa casino. Sa Pilipinas, walang POGO operators. Tanging POGO service providers lamang dahil nagaganap ang mga laro sa labas ng bansa.
Pumunta sa bangko.
Oo nga naman, sir. Ba't kailangan pang pumunta sa bangko?
Why not get a UB app so you can do all these without going to the bank? Bank the way you live. Union Bank.
This is a very important story. The important story.
Pictures and stories.
Today, we feel the weight of history on our shoulders. The way we have been moving leads nowhere. We need to change course.
Since the United Nations was founded, the human race has never had to face a set of challenges like we do right now. But together, we can overcome them.